Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm so glad you're joining us for the Nobel Week Light 2025 guided tour. Every year during Nobel Week, Stockholm transforms into a city of light, where art, science, and innovation come together in some truly unexpected ways. Nobel Week Light invites us to see the city differently, through stunning light installations created by artists, designers, and researchers from around the world.
Since I'm myself not a physicist, I prefer here to quote. I don't want to, say it wrong. So I have written down the quote of what it really is, this prize. Another physics prize. We have, as I said, a number of physics prizes. And what you can see here is the Royal Sky. That's the artwork, though. Rendering homage to a physics prize winner, a Swedish man, 1970. It's quite a number of years ago. I'm kind of sure that you will know what I'm talking about, that you've heard that expression before. It's the phenomenon which arises when loaded particles from the sun meet the magnetic fields of the Earth. Nordsken, exactly, Aurora Borealis. Most of you have either seen it yourselves or heard about it. And when we soon will approach this here, it really is feeling as if you were in the midst of Aurora Borealis. So cool. Now, this piece of art was made by a man from Latvia. There's a lot of things art-wise going on in Latvia. It's a very dynamic, small city in a small country on the eastern side of the Baltic Sea, and yet the art scene is sparkling, you could say. His name is Jens Petersons, and he has done Jan Petersons, and he has put nylon threads that hang down and then works with laser. This is the very first time that the festival works with laser. Never done that before. And laser is not static necessarily. Laser is kind of moving around. So they had to actually, the curators, by the way, 3 women, they worked for the Nobel Prize Museum, hence the ticket that I was able to give you. And they looked around. They've already started looking for the next year, so 120, usually 120 different ideas, 120 to 150 per first year, and then it's reduced down to 20. So it's usually in between 12 and 20 different artworks. Now, here they decided to use the nylon threads and laser moves around. So they had to speak because art here is exhibited right in the middle of the city. The city becomes a museum. The art becomes more accessible to people who've never ever used or even dared to approach art before, maybe graffiti, but if at all. And suddenly the art is yours. Whether you're a small child who starts poking at things, as you can do in different places, or you're an adult who's well trained and who walks, visits the National Museum twice a month. Here it's everybody's art. The art invites you in. It's a very democratic way of showing art. That's their idea. And then they have to negotiate with the city. For instance, back there where we saw Ghost, they had to negotiate with the city of Stockholm. You know what? Your trash can here is really molesting. Can we move it? And yes, the city of Stockholm said, yeah, get out of that trash can, but put it back afterwards. So, things like that. And they also had to negotiate with the bank over here. This is Handelsbanken, one of the 4 big business banks of Stockholm, and they had to speak to the bosses there because they have a boardroom where the light always stretches by, and they had to say, would you mind pulling the curtains? English, French, German. later on some Italian as well. He came back to Sweden. I mean, he literally his childhood and youth he spent in Russia, then moved back to Sweden, briefly invented dynamite, just happened, and then he would afterwards decide to move over to Europe, if I say so, with his most important invention, which is dynamite. When his first factory was outside of Hamburg in Germany, and then he went down to many different places. He had factories all over the world, and finally decided to settle in the city of his life, which is called Paris. But his inventions were sold not only to the French, but also to the Italians and the Germans, and they were all enemies. And the French government said, "You must be a traitor. I mean, you're living in our city and sell arms to the enemy. That's not possible." So they told him, "That's over. You go." And he moved over to Italy and lived the rest of his life, which was only a few years, down in Rimini, very close to the French border on the coast. There was a rule that where you have horses in your stable is where you belong. And he did not have a passport. Strangely enough, he didn't own a passport. Fortunately, his horses were in a small town in western Sweden. If not, most likely there would not have been a Nobel Prizes. Can you imagine? Or they would have been in Italy. I don't know. Okay, let's go. And I was asked also, will we go over to City Hall? Not possible this year because there's a lot of construction that way. Tegelbacken outside of the Sheraton Hotel is all ripped up and it continues over to its City Hall. So the curators decided to have this year's walk remain on this side, which I think was very wise, and actually invite you into Old Town, which we don't usually see with a guided walk, even though I've tried to include it very many times because I find it so interesting. The men who did the piece of art, which is to my right, this big white cube, which is 6 meters long and 3.5 meters high, and it has 4 walls, invites you to become a creator. Creator of what? Well, again, I'll quote the physics prize. This is, by the way, 2017 that the physics prize was awarded. And it is for the decisive contributions to the LIGO detector and the observation of cosmic gravitational waves. What you see behind myself are the cosmic waves. This time not created by a physical condition other than you becoming part of it. You will, in just a moment's time, be the one creating those waves. The artists, Automana, which are from two gentlemen, they are from Montreal in Canada. Could be that they're hanging out here. If you see two bearded people poking, it's them. Most likely. They may poke. We may poke as well. We should not use our knives. What you have here as material is spandex. It's like, fabric is spandex, and you are invited to poke because you will see how the light from within touches the spandex, and the small sensors will make the light become, as we said, the waves. So I invite you to do that. Let's say about 3 minutes or so, do a tour counterclockwise, and we'll meet on the other side here, and then we will cross the street and continue on Nordic on our side, on the left side. Okay, so down into the next piece of art. I would just like to briefly think about what light actually means to us. I think the very first day that a person in Stockholm switched on a light bulb, which was in the early 1870s in Stockholm, in a restaurant in Kungsträdgården. It must have been like a revelation. I mean, whew, it was dark and suddenly there was light. Almost biblical. But that was then, and since then we've had electricity, and since the 2030s, accessible to everybody as well. What kind of lighting do we have in the city? We have functional lighting, like street lamps. Now this one here right now looks a little bit different, but usually there are street lamps. Street lamps are here in order to light up the streets so that we don't fall, we don't stumble, that the cars drive correctly, that we don't feel afraid. Then we have seasonal lighting. Like right now it's Christmas in Sweden, Christmas is celebrated, so we have little chandeliers and all kinds of knickknacks all over the city. Then we have commercial lighting. From here, I think we can at least see, the opera right now you can't see, but over behind myself, you can see the blue text Handelsbanken, and you can see the golden yellow text Grand Hotel. It's commercial messaging. Come on into my building, let's do business, okay? And there's even more so if you get up to Sergels Torg, for instance. And then we do have the art light. And again, as I said in the very beginning, this art light here is so democratic because it addresses different kind of people, all ages, in an open square. So therefore, the idea to link up Nobel, who really wanted, in spite of being a businessman, but he wanted to do some good for society and humankind, to link him with this very democratic festival where we get to see all these different kinds of waves. Excellent, I would say. Just a little reflection that I have had the last few days when I was walking around here. Anyhow, let's now do another famous prize. Down here you'll see a piece of art called Divine Geometry. The prize was awarded in 2020, and it is about the discovery of a supermassive compact object at the center of our galaxy. Would you know what I'm talking about? The black hole, exactly, the black hole. And the black hole here is illustrated by having a circle. There's 24 lamps around, or holes attached around that perfect circle. And there's laser, again, we have laser here. And the laser and the light can only be seen because there's also some kind of, should I say, mist coming out. So therefore it's visible. Each day they have to calibrate how fast it comes out, because sometimes there's wind, sometimes it's still, etc. It's quite amazing when you go down and stand down there.